Welcome to this in-session course on the manual control of your camera. This is Silvia, and she's a photography teacher in the Virtual School of Photography. We're going to be seeing a dynamic course on the different options you can control with your camera. For this course, you can use any kind of camera. We just need to have here a manual control. As you can see here with the automatic controls. And here we have the manual and semi-automatic modes. If you have this M here, M for manual, you can modify the different options that the manufacturer lets us. What's the basic difference between these different cameras? Well, you can work from a reflex camera. They are normally bigger, heavier, and they allow us to change our lens. Or you might work, for example, with a mirrorless camera like this one. This one also has options that we can modify. The difference between a mirrorless camera and a reflex one that has a 45-degree mirror is basically the weight and comfort of having to carry them. The mirrorless ones are going to let you change the lens as well. This model doesn't, but there are others that do. Reflex cameras let you change or modify the lens so you can do portrait photos, landscapes, whatever you want to do. It's good for a lot of things. These cameras are called reflex cameras because actually the image is created inside the camera, reflecting it, and seeing it through the viewfinder. So the light is going to go through the lens lets the light go through to the mirror, and this mirror at 45 degrees, right when we take our photo, lifts up, letting the light through to the inside of the camera. What are the advantages of having this mirror? Well, it gives us direct communication with the lens. So, the Optical Viewfinder lets me see the image straight through the lens. Once the light has gone through and we have that direct vision with the viewfinder, view closely, there is a small button right next to the camera's viewfinder that's known as the viewfinder diopter adjustment. This is used mainly for people with glasses and don't want to shoot with your glasses on. You can turn that wheel until you can see the numbers that are in the camera and the data that appear in the shot, speed, diaphragm, ISO, and all of that stuff. And it's all adjusted correctly. I recommend that you check this out, as it's quite easy, and you can check the number. It's going to be the best way for you. You can check that in the camera we have the direct viewfinder, and some cameras give us the live viewfinder on the screen, so we can see it all off the screen. I do recommend that you use live view as a default, as it takes a lot of battery and it's going to slow down your camera. I do recommend, like in this camera that has a movable screen, that maybe you use it in conditions that are more difficult to get into the view. So this will help you to not have to take on difficult postures. I would recommend that during the course you don't have live view on and you can do the classes with the direct viewfinder. This kind of camera, as it doesn't have a mirror, it gives us a screen to project the image on. In the lens, we are going to find different parameters to adjust, like the zoom wheel has to do with the focal length and the coverage angle that we are going to give on our image. Or the focus wheel. This is something essential in photography because we have to focus on the image at a correct distance so that it comes out clean. Here as well you have a number of buttons: automatic focus, manual focus, and an off button for the stabilizer. Depending on the model of the lens you're using, this might not get this stabilizer option, but basically we can change the angle of vision, the coverage of the focal length, the focus. And this stabilizer is going to help us with the slow speeds. Once the light goes into our camera, what we are going to get is different parameters: diaphragm, speed, ISO, the exposition triangle, the three basic parameters that have to do with the light. This is what we do when we are going to take a photo. We measure the light in the scene and we adjust the basic parameters. All these other parameters that we can find here, well, we are going to be seeing them little by little through the lesson. So, how do we know that the amount of light of the scene is the correct amount with the parameters that we are establishing? We get the exposure measure so we can see the amount of light. We can see if there's enough or not, or if it's adequate for the scene we want to capture. To take a photo, we only need two basic components. This is a camera, a pinhole camera, as it's known. it doesn't have a lens, it has a little pinhole, this little hole here. It's a very small hole. With this camera, we put in a light-sensitive paper and we have the shutter mechanism, so we can control the exposure time. So we can control the time we are going to take our picture with, and as the light goes through, we have the diaphragm, which is the hole through which goes the light. We can let light go through a big hole, or we can reduce it. With these parameters, in the end, we are going to have a correct exposure of our photo. So yeah, take a look at your camera, how is the lens, what options do we have, what's the body like, what are the basic controls, and in the different lessons we are going to be adjusting those parameters. The diaphragm and the speed can be controlled with 1 or 2 buttons depending on the camera. In this camera we are going to be using the wheel, and if I press the AV plus and minus and the wheel, we are going to be adjusting the camera. And then we also have the shortcut to ISO. That's always there, so we can change it to change the parameters. So little by little we are going to be looking at all of those buttons, all of those options on the menu. So yeah, look at your camera and see you in next lesson.